Hey y'all, it's Whitney. I know what you're thinking. Is she wearing the same outfit? And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. And you want to know why? Because it's the same day. You know, it's fine. Some of y'all are probably like, oh geez. Oh well, it is what it is. But I kind of just wanted to kind of take you guys on a ride. I'm about to go to the grocery store. I'm in my hometown, so I'm really excited. It is my sister's bachelorette weekend, so I'm trying to get some goodies put together, and I got some food to make. So I figured, you know what? I've got to do some driving and run some errands, so I'm just gonna take you with me. So that's what I'm gonna do. So here we go. Oh. Sorry, I can be such a dork sometimes, but you know what? I own it. I just own it. But no, I'm really excited for the school year. As I said like a million times in my last video. But I think it's going to be really good. And I think like one of the things that a lot of us teachers don't always talk about is that, you know, sometimes we just need a break and a refresher. And it's the hardest job I've ever loved. I absolutely love being a teacher. I love meeting kids, but it's kind of overwhelming at times. And so this summer, I've really taken a lot of time to relax, you know, get my personal business in order, being a newlywed and getting my name changed on everything, and just like, you know, real life stuff. It was kind of nice to do all of that and kind of focus on things that aren't just like work. But, you know, as soon as July hits, I'm like, boom, we're back in school mode. Like, I'm thinking of classroom management strategies and activities I want to do with my kids. And so, like, all this stuff. So I'm like all in, you know, and especially since August is like 3 days away, like, we're really in school mode. But it's great. I've been doing a lot of professional development over the summer, just because last year was harder for me, and I did have a challenging class, but it was me as well. Like, as a first year teacher, I didn't really understand my teaching style. I didn't really know, like, I went in with an idea of how I would like to run my classroom, but there was like a lot of little things that I didn't even think of. And, you know, how to sharpen a pencil or where to put your water bottle. And you know, the kids were asking because they were genuinely just like wanting to know, how does Miss Young want these things? And so it was no fault of their own, and it was mine. And so I kind of did like a bunch of like little different things, and I would change up my procedures whenever, you know, like we did something for a couple weeks and it just didn't work. And so I would get kind of frustrated, and, you know, it wasn't their fault, right? They just don't understand, and their little minds, you know, because I taught third grade, so their little minds, their attention span's gone like that, they forget. And so it was just a learning curve for me. So this year, you know, over the summer, I really sat down with my notebook and I looked at, you know, what worked last year, what didn't work last year. And I wrote every single procedure down in explicit detail. I mean, as if it was happening right in front of me. And so I think that going into year 2, this is going to be really helpful for me, because one of my goals this year is to really focus on modeling and within my lessons and procedures and everything. So just like really focus and be very explicit with the kids about exactly what I want to happen, because, you know, again, I didn't really think about it too much, but every teacher that they've ever had does things so different. So for me to think like, oh, well, they should just know what to do when they come in the first day, or, you know, they should know that they need to raise their hand to speak. Like, you know, as an adult, you think like that, but in reality, kids just forget. Like, they don't know. They genuinely don't know. So this year, I really want to focus like hardcore the first month of just like working on, classroom procedures and just kind of how our day flows and roll out, all of my expectations and have them practice it. One of my favorite teachers on YouTube, her name is Miss May, and her channel is One Fab Teacher, and she's absolutely incredible. I mean, she's just fabulous, and she's a first grade teacher, and she always, the first like week of school, models all of her procedures and how she wants things to do, or how she wants the kids to do things. And she always does an anchor chart as well when she's doing it. And on her anchor chart, she talks about what it looks like and what it sounds like. And so she'll model what it looks like and what it sounds like. And then she'll have her kids do it. And then she'll have a volunteer do it the incorrect way. And then they talk about it. And I never really thought about it that way because my naive self thought, okay, I'm just going to tell the kids, like, when you walk in, you're going to put your backpack up, you're going to put your folder in the bin, and then you're going to sit down and look at the board and do whatever's on the board. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but if they're just sitting there, like, listening to you talk, they're just going to be like, wait, what'd you say? I forgot, So having them, like, really, become actors and actresses and, like, do what you and model what you want, and then have them model what it shouldn't look like, I think it's genius. And honestly, I'm like, duh, but it's great. So I'm really excited to do that. Another teacher I really, really love is Mr. Reynolds, and his channel's like Real Rap with Reynolds and stuff, and so he's just phenomenal. And he's a high school teacher, and he teaches like at an all boys school, but a lot of what he says is great, and I have to tweak it a little bit, obviously, because I'm working with elementary school students and he's with high school students, but the gist of what he's saying is phenomenal. It's all about developing those relationships with those kids, and sometimes reacting in a weird way to kind of throw kids off instead of making a big deal out of things. It really works. For example, like one of the things that he does is, like, if kids have to like go to the bathroom and stuff and they're asking constantly, and instead of saying, oh, no, we really got to learn this lesson, he'll say, hey, so-and-so, can they go to the bathroom? And then it like takes it on them. Or like he has a magic 8-ball, and like he just does like weird things, and like he'll put like stickers on their papers and like weird stuff, and I don't know, he really plays into keeping the environment light and having some humor, and just not being that hard-nosed teacher that's always like a drill sergeant, like he's just real with kids. He doesn't let them get away with bad things, but he also doesn't come down on them hard whenever they forget little things, like their shirt's not tucked in, like whether they forgot or they did it out of defiance. Instead of making it like a big thing, he'll be like, hey man, did you realize your shirt is not tucked in? Oh, or so it's just, I really enjoy that, and especially like working with a population of kids that I work with, that's really helpful, because a lot of times the adults in their lives have failed them, or it's not always a very positive home environment. So like, if a water bottle spills, oops, just clean it up, instead of making like a big deal out of everything, just say, hey, you know what, paper towels are over there, anyone else want to help out? So I really enjoy that. So this year I really want to work on kind of relinquishing some of the control in my classroom and just kind of being a little more like flowy and fluid, and still having structure because they need structure, but going with the flow more. And so my principals are awesome. They, give me some advice and some recommendations as like books that I can read and things. So I'm I've been reading those books, and I've been really trying to watch like a lot of TED Talks and those kinds of things. And so I'm really excited to do those things. So it's going to be great. And it's kind of hard, honestly. I'll be real. It's difficult for me because I am a perfectionist and I like things how I like them. To just kind of like let them, step up to the plate and not have to do everything for them, but just say, give them those opportunities to be leaders. And so, kind of like getting out of my head and saying, you know what, I'm going to try this, or instead of putting limits on, oh, well, they're too young for that, they can't do that. Well, you know what, let's try it. Maybe they are too young for it, maybe not, but it might be really cool. So I kind of want to just like relax a little bit and know that it's okay to try new things and not be so like rigorous, because in my student teaching experience, I had a couple placements. So one of my placements, I was in a kindergarten classroom, and it was in a very affluent neighborhood, and like the kids were like little perfect angels, and they didn't want to do anything wrong because they wanted to please their teacher and all that great stuff. They were cute as butt. And then I had a different placement where it was at a school that was very similar to my school now. And it was in a 5th grade math and science classroom. And I absolutely loved it. It was great. I had to learn, I definitely learned a lot, dealing with, personalities and just kind of like the vibe, because I went from kindergarten to 5th grade. Like there's a big difference. But it was so great. And even though they can be a little more challenging, I love it. It's one of those things where they need someone to not give up on them, and they need someone to be there. And sometimes it's just a listening ear. Sometimes they just want someone to talk to or someone to acknowledge their presence. And, I'm not saying that I'm like perfect and like the savior and I'm going to save them all. And like, that's stupid, right? That's not reality. But the kids at the more affluent school, like, I don't know how big of a difference I was actually making, right? I mean, they had good homes. They, wanted to learn. I feel like I didn't teach them as much as I wanted to. Oh man, are they... rats. Okay. Sorry, I just pulled into Dollar Tree because I was going to get some things for my classroom. And it's like 8:25 and they don't open up till 9. So, boo. But that's okay. I can go to the grocery store and then I'll come back. So, but anyways, I'm blabbing a lot. But basically, I'm ready for a fresh start. I'm ready to be different than I was last year. It was a very hard year, and it wasn't all the kids, like, yeah, there were some, behaviors that we had to kind of work on, but I just want to be better. One of the hardest things for me last year was feeling like a failure because I tried to be everything for everyone all the time. And, I can't be. And that's hard because I take my job very seriously. I love what I do. I'm very passionate. And if I feel like I'm not good enough or being enough for the kids, it hurts my heart because I want to be everything they need. And I want to help them and, give them the tools that they're going to use for the rest of their life. I mean, some people look at elementary school and they're like, oh, they're just little kids. No, we are teaching foundational skills they'll use forever. And I take it very seriously because I know that it's so important. It's so, so important. So I put too much pressure on myself. I feel you know, felt like a failure. I felt like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing, which, I mean, in some instances, yeah, I really didn't, because as a first-year teacher, you can't expect to be like a 20-year teacher or whatever. So that was hard. Sorry, apparently I can't park today. But I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it wasn't really warranted. So yeah, but this year it's going to be good. Working really hard, and one of the things that I am going to work on also is to switch off my brain and not burn myself out. I did that a lot last year, and it's okay not to burn yourself out. You need it. You need that break. So I'm going to work on that. And yeah, that's kind of it. I know it was really like a chatty vlog. It wasn't very like, ooh, you know, exciting. But, you know, sometimes it's good just to like get out your feelings. You know, just like the kids, they just need someone to talk to. And maybe it's weird that I'm just talking to a camera, but I don't know, it feels good. And so if anyone sees this and you feel the same way, you know, I'm here for you. I get it. I totally get it. If you've been through it and have some advice, just comment down below. That would be awesome too. So anyways, I hope y'all have a great day. And I'm really excited to get the year started. I'm gonna try to get some footage of the classroom. It just kind of depends on how much I can really get, you know, based on what I'm allowed to do and time and everything. So I will see you when I see you. Bye.